She is an obesity medicine expert with certifications from World Obesity Federation, UK, and the Harvard Medical College, Medical School, USA. Dr. Vijayata is also the founder and director of NutriWell Global Program at Healing Touch City Clinic, Chandigarh, since 2000. Dr. Vijayata is passionate about preventing illness through nutrition and weight management. She runs a popular and successful obesity management program aimed at prevention of cardiovascular disease and other complications of obesity. Over the past 2 decades, Dr. Vijayata has transformed the lives of thousands of patients across the world, including Indian celebrities, politicians, and sportspersons. Dr. Vijayata is also the recipient of the Best Obesity Medicine Doctor of the Year 2020 award at the National Healthcare Excellence Awards. Dr. Vijayata has earlier been honored with the Gurukul Vidyapith Award and International Women's Day for her work on obesity. She has several publications to her credit, and her research has more than 60 international citations. Her most recent original research, that is the determinants of basal metabolic rate in Indian obese patients, was published in the Obesity Medicine Journal by Elsevier. So today, doctor is going to talk us about a very relevant but very rarely discussed topic, that is obesity, a risk factor for COVID. We have all known this pandemic times has been very, very difficult. So Dr. Vijayata is going to give us a brief information how obesity could be one of the factors which could affect the COVID patients. So doctor, welcome to you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Hi friends, this is Dr. Vijayata Singhal, the director of NutriWell Global, the premier weight loss program. For over 2 decades, we have been instrumental in transforming the lives of over 20,000 patients from all over India and across the world. We provide health and weight loss solutions in a natural and scientific way. We help you create an easy and happy relationship with food. The topic for today's presentation is obesity, a risk factor for COVID-19. Globally, we are passing through a very unusual and challenging time. The risk of coronavirus looms large. So let's understand what is COVID-19. Coronavirus disease 2019 is a current pandemic outbreak caused by a novel coronavirus called Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, SARS Coronavirus 2. COVID-19 is the official name given by WHO. Coming back, what is COVID-19? Coronavirus disease 2019 is a current pandemic outbreak caused by a novel coronavirus called Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. COVID-19 is the official name given by WHO. It is an enveloped RNA virus first identified in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China. The transmission of the virus is via airborne droplets to the nasal mucosa. COVID-19 was first reported to the World Health Organization on 31st December 2019, and on 30th January 2020, it was labeled as the world pandemic by WHO. So coming to the symptoms of COVID-19, whereas some patients may show no symptoms at all, the most common symptoms include fever, dry cough, fatigue, tiredness, loss of appetite, loss of smell, sore throat, and headache. The time between the first symptom and the exposure and the first symptom is known as the incubation period, and the symptoms could appear as early as 3 days or maybe 13 days later. Hence, the Center for Disease Control recommends a self-quarantine period of 14 days after the last exposure or post-exposure. So looking at the risk factors for COVID-19, definitely obesity is a very, very high risk factor for the severity of COVID-19. And other factors include type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, lung condition, that is COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, old age more than 65, and immunocompromised status. So we all are wondering, why this hype? Why would obesity or why would fat prove fatal? Why can it prove fatal? So obesity increases the prevalence, severity, and lethality of COVID-19. Also, the risk of developing complications is extremely high in patients who are obese. As seen in the cartoon here, the ACE2 cells, that is the angiotensin converting enzyme, 2 cells are found in a higher concentration in the obese patients. Also the interleukin 6 and the tumor necrosis factor alpha, that is IL-6 and TNF alpha, are also found in a higher concentration, which establishes a state of chronic low-grade inflammation, which in turn results in various metabolic disturbances. Now, trying to understand the link between COVID and obesity. It is possible that the fat cells of obese people could be a target for and a reservoir for coronavirus before it invades the rest of the body. The surface of fat cells provides an easy entry for COVID-19 in an obese patient as they lock on and penetrate the cells. So obesity compromises lung function because of the greater resistance in the airways and greater difficulty in expanding the lungs. Thirdly, obesity weakens the immune system, increasing the chance of a cytokine storm with COVID-19. Now, during this storm, what happens? During the cytokine storm, the immune system goes into overdrive and starts attacking our own organs, and this can even kill the patient. Lastly, and the fourth, is that it is difficult to ventilate the obese people. Now, here is a very beautiful pictorial showing us how coronavirus is linked to a greater risk of life-threatening infection in people with obesity. After the first contact with the virus through a droplet or surface, the virus enters the throat and progresses to the lungs. It spreads to other tissues such as the heart, gut, kidney, and then it may infect the fat tissue where it increases the immune cells and signaling. The infected fat allows the virus shedding, cytokine storm, and subsequent lung injury. Now, greater the obesity, more is the severity of COVID. The risk increases by almost half, that is 44% in the overweight people and almost by 100% in the obese people. Trying to understand the biological and physiological association between obesity and COVID. In a person with obesity, there is a chronic pro-inflammatory state and excessive oxidative stress response, which can impair the immunity. Also, there is a reduced lung function and poor response to the mechanical ventilation. So, looking at the biological and social factors, so the biological and social factors will they impact the coronavirus infection, and the learnings from that are that it causes increased risk of acute respiratory distress syndrome, increased hospitalization and ICU admission, increased critical care needs, and increased mortality. So there is no doubt that the worldwide prevalence of obesity has definitely worsened the pandemic of COVID, because we are currently going through an epidemic of obesity. According to 2016 stats, 1.9 billion people were overweight and 650 million people are obese. Out of this, 2.8 million people die each year as a result of being overweight or obese. So let us understand what is obesity. Obesity is complex. Obesity is a chronic disease process with excess fat accumulation that impairs health. Also, it could be due to an imbalance in the calorie consumption and energy expenditure. Body mass index or BMI is a weight for height index which helps us to classify obesity. So a BMI of 25, more than 25 or equal to 25 is overweight, and a BMI of more than or equal to 30 is obese. Now, there might be many causes of obesity, but the major 4 causes would be consumption of energy dense foods, medication, sedentary behavior, and genetic disorders. Consumption of energy dense foods, we live in an highly obesogenic environment, and the stresses of modern day life make us consume unhealthy foods. Consumption of liquid sweetened foods and highly processed foods laden with sugar, salt, saturated fat, and refined carbohydrates can cause changes in the body, which can cause accumulation of fat in the adipose tissue. Now, almost 10 to 15% of the cases could be due to some kind of medication. Now, why would medication increase our weight? Well, some medicines increase the appetite, that is, we feel more hungry. Some medicines might decrease the metabolism, so the body will process your calories slowly, and some will cause water retention, or it may cause retention of fat, or it may help cause difficulty in exercising because of the sedation caused by the certain medications. A few medications which may cause increase in weight may be steroids, that is prednisolone, then antidepressant and anti-anxiety drugs. Then it could be the diabetics, that is insulin and pioglitazone, then antihistaminics like cetirizine. Then it could be the hypertension medicines, that is metoprolol. So this is just a small list here. So sedentary behavior is a very another important cause of obesity, because obese individuals may perform less physical activity and have a prolonged sitting time, which has consequences on health. Excessive TV, computer, internet, video game playing, sitting at work, and driving instead of walking all contribute to obesity. So the bottom line is limit TV and sit time, increase fit time to prevent obesity. Now, a small percentage of people may show excess gain, which is a symptom of certain diseases, that is hypothyroidism, Cushing syndrome, depression. Also, a few genetic disorders can play a role in obesity. Some of the common genetic syndromes which lead to an increase in obesity are the Prader-Willi syndrome and the Bardet-Biedl syndrome. Obesity impacts our health, well-being, and immunity in a very big way. So, the social and emotional effects of obesity can be deep. The person with obesity may face discrimination and may suffer from an impaired body image, leading to a lower quality of life. The psychological effects can be deep and damaging. A patient may experience anxiety and stress, which could lead to depression and lethargy, thereby leading to eating disorders and then a lower self-esteem. And definitely obesity leads to an impaired immunity, which leads to increased risk of bacterial and viral infections. And last but not the least, obesity has been classified as a disease by itself, as well as it is a gateway to the NCDs, that is the non-communicable diseases, that is type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, stroke, osteoarthritis, and cancers. Now, let us take a look at the consequences of obesity. The condition most strongly affected by obesity is type 2 diabetes mellitus. How and why would this happen? The fat cells, especially those stored around the waist, secrete hormones and other substances which can fire inflammation. The inflammation can make the body less responsive to insulin, leading to higher blood sugar levels and eventually to diabetes and its complications. However, even a moderate weight loss can prevent or delay the start of diabetes in people who are already at a high risk. Heart disease or coronary artery disease is a very, very important effect of obesity, and long-term studies have demonstrated a definite relationship between people who are obese and coronary artery disease, and there is an 81% higher risk in people with obesity of a coronary artery disease. Obesity increases the heart disease by increasing the LDL, that is the bad cholesterol, and by lowering the HDL, that is the good cholesterol. And this produces atherosclerosis, that is the hardening of the arteries, which ultimately will lead to acute myocardial infarction, that is the heart attack. Now, coming to the most very, very common ailment, hypertension. So, hypertension is also caused by obesity. I mean, not entirely, but yes, definitely obesity contributes to hypertension. Now, what is hypertension? What is blood pressure? So, blood pressure is the pressure that the blood exerts on the lining of the arteries, and a normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mm of mercury. A value of 140 by 90 or higher is labeled as a hypertension. Now, again, looking at the mechanism, why would obesity cause hypertension? So, individuals with obesity have an increase in the fatty tissue that increases the vascular resistance, and in turn, the heart has to work harder to pump the blood throughout the body. Obesity causes hypertension by activating the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system by increasing the sympathetic activity. Now, coming to another common ailment, that is the joint problem, that is the osteoarthritis, which is a degenerative arthritis, very common arthritis, commonly seen in obese and elderly. Also known as the wear and tear disease, it presents with joint pain, stiffness, and swelling. Now, again, how would obesity make a difference? The increased weight in an obese patient adds stress to the weight-bearing joints, that is the hips and the knees. Secondly, the fat tissue produces a protein which causes harmful inflammation in and around the joints. However, shedding excess weight provides a lot of relief. Now, OSA, that is the obstructive sleep apnea, is a common but I think a missed complication of obesity. Now, this is a very unique condition in which while the patient is sleeping, the breathing stops involuntarily for brief periods of time, and snoring may be a symptom of that as well. Normally, the airflow stops because the airway space in the area of throat is too narrow. Again, weight loss shows us a lot of improvement. Now, after looking at all the risks and complications and consequences, we need to understand how important is sedentary lifestyle, I mean, in propagating the cycle for obesity. Because a sedentary lifestyle will lead to a lack of physical activity and exercise, and eventually it will lead to an impaired immune system, inflammation, and other chronic diseases, which will further cause more inactivity, and the cycle goes on. Unhealthy food habits will definitely impair our immune system as well. That is consuming a junk food diet rich in saturated fat, eating or drinking too much sugar, going overboard with alcohol, excess top salt, all impairs the action of immune system by making the T cells slow and sluggish. Now, as the world eagerly awaits and anticipates the arrival of a anti-COVID effective vaccine, the alarming and the shocking fact is that COVID-19 vaccine is less likely to work for obese people. And long-term studies have strong evidence that individuals affected by obesity have a very high non-response rate to vaccination, as already seen in the cases of hepatitis B and influenza. Actually, what happens, this means that after vaccination, the disease-fighting antibodies are not produced to the extent that they need to be to protect against the disease. Now, the one hypothesis says that obesity may trigger a metabolic dysregulation of T cells, that is the white blood cells critical for immune response. Also, chronic inflammation interferes with immune response to the vaccine, rendering it ineffective. So, guys, we really need to get our act together and take obesity in all the seriousness that it deserves. Because the good news is that obesity is reversible. Australian researchers have found that shedding just 10 pounds, a mere 4.53 kgs of weight, could help restore an off-balance immune system. A 10% reduction in weight produces medically measurable results, which is very, very exciting and inspiring. Now, after looking at all the such a grim situation that the vaccine is not going to work, and the COVID looming large and so many complications, the mind frantically searches for a solution, and I thought the solution could be a two-pronged approach, that is, maintain a healthy weight and boost your immunity. Now, the first step would be to optimize the immunity. Now, what is our immune system? Our immune system is a balanced network of cells that work together to defend against the disease, stopping threats like bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasites from getting into the body. Now, it is composed of billions of WBCs, including macrophages, neutrophils, lymphocytes, and natural killer cells. To boost the immune system, we need to eliminate the negatives from our life, that is the drugs, alcohol, smoking, sedentary lifestyle, overweight, and excess exposure to the sun without protection. Like any fighting force in the world, the immune system army marches on its stomach. So the immune system warriors need a good nourishment, good regular nourishment. So we really need to beware of the micronutrient malnutrition, deficiency of essential vitamins and trace minerals, for example, zinc, selenium, iron, copper, folic acid, and vitamins A, D, E, and B6 must be avoided. So here's looking at some of the immune boosting foods: vitamin D, vitamin C, omega-3 fatty acids, dietary fiber, and copper. So vitamin D is our sunshine vitamin because our body produces it naturally in the skin on exposure to sunlight. We can get it through certain foods and supplements, that is egg yolk, salmon, sardines, shrimp, milk, yogurt, and orange juice, which have been fortified. And the three surprising health benefits of vitamin D are that it helps to ward off depression, it boosts weight loss, and it helps to prevent the heart disease. Vitamin C, also known as the ascorbic acid, is a water-soluble vitamin, well known for its role in health immune system. It is a potent antioxidant which prevents or reverses the cellular damage. It boosts collagen production and immunity. Since our body cannot make vitamin C, it must come from the foods we eat. The good sources would be citrus fruits like orange, lemon, vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflowers, red and green bell peppers, spinach, and strawberries and kiwi. Omega-3 fatty acids. Whereas most of the fatty acids which we need can be manufactured in the body from the fats that already exist, omega-3 fatty acids are essential fats that the body cannot make them, but we must get them from food. So foods high in omega-3 include seafood, that is salmon, sardines, trout, chia seeds, flax seeds, spinach. Walnuts are a very good source of omega-3 fatty acids. And the health benefits include that it's anti-inflammatory, it reduces the insulin resistance, it improves the risk factors for heart disease, benefits the metabolic syndrome, and helps with central obesity. Now, dietary fiber. Foods which are rich in fiber are considered very beneficial for human health, as it helps in lowering the cholesterol and glucose levels. In addition to the in addition to the diverse wellness benefits, non-digestible polysaccharides help in maintaining a healthy immune system. Also, very importantly, the soluble fiber changes our immune cells from being pro-inflammatory warrior cells to anti-inflammatory peacekeeping cells. And good sources would be carrots, broccoli, peas, beans, pulses, nuts, and seeds. Copper is an essential trace mineral necessary for survival. It is found in the body tissues and plays a role in making the RBCs and maintaining nerves and immune system. It also forms collagen and breaks down the fat cells. The good sources would be nuts, almonds, cashews, beans, soya beans, lentils, seafood, that is lobster, squid, oyster, and whole grains. 4 additional domains to optimize weight loss and immunity would be eating wholesome food, sleep hygiene, exercise, and mental health. Let us start and win the battle of the bulge with wholesome food. So we need to include fiber, and it will positively affect our gut microbes that aid immunity as well as help in shedding excess weight. Add colorful fruits and vegetables for vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Eat a diet rich in legumes and whole grains, and include fish, nuts, and seeds. Restrict the saturated fats and sugars. Minimize the consumption of red and processed meats. So, what are you waiting for? Break the inertia and start moving. Because regular exercise is the key to boost our immune system. And we need to get at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity activity like brisk walking. So not only will it help us in the weight loss, the other effects, the lot of benefits of a workout include it helps to lower your blood pressure, cholesterol, and a risk of heart disease and diabetes. Also, it lowers your depression because it releases the body's feel-good chemicals. It improves the blood flow to the brain and thinking skills and increases the bone strength. So, stress is the byproduct of today's fast-paced and hectic lifestyle, and I cannot emphasize the importance of minimizing stress from our lives. I mean, it is a very, very less understood factor, and we take it very casually, because chronic stress has many negative effects on health and brain. Cortisol is released whenever we are stressed, that is, we are in a fight or flight mode. Higher cortisol lowers the immune response, specifically inhibiting the WBCs called lymphocytes. So let us achieve calm the Zen way Meditation is a very good way to even out your emotional landscape. Daily practice relaxes the body and mind. Deep breathing helps us calm down and relax. Sleep hygiene. Now, why is sleep so important? Sleep activates our immune system, which fights the infections, and sleep deprivation depresses the immune system, according to experts at Harvard. And for a good restorative sleep, we need to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Try going to sleep 30 minutes earlier. Just 30 minutes can make all the difference. Maintain the same sleep and wake up schedule every day, and avoid caffeine past 4 p.m. The weight loss may reverse immune system damage. Rethink your relationship with food. We need to change our mindset, our belief system, attitude, the way we think and relate to food. We need to make peace with food. Food is meant to nourish us and not stress us. Walk your way to health and immunity with us at Nutriwell Global. And finally, find freedom from disease. Break free from the clutches of obesity with a healthy lifestyle and win the battle with COVID. So, to conclude, the takeaways from the impact of obesity on COVID would be: the obese subjects are potentially more vulnerable to become infected with COVID-19. Obesity is also associated with poor outcomes in COVID-19 with a high probability of mortality. Obesity is a well-recognized cause of respiratory function compromise, which might make this group of patients at risk of a more severe clinical course if they contract COVID-19. Obesity is found to be a strong independent risk factor for hospitalization in COVID-19 and to cause a variety of comorbidities associated with increased morbidity and mortality. Thank you.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Singhal, for such a lovely and informative topic. Actually, obesity is one thing, and the relation with COVID has given us a lot of insights. Has given a lot of insights about the topic, and it was a real eye-opener for all of us. Therefore, obese patients, I would recommend prevention is better than cure. Stay fit and stay